If you've been waiting to take the electric car plunge but are worried about range anxiety, you better jump now, because BMW are about to stop making the range extender, the one electric car that can go as far as the fuel tank will carry you.
Currently, the EV with the best range on the market is the Tesla with around 260 miles. The baby BMW will do 95 on batteries alone, but fire up the small petrol engine and you can do another 68 on the fuel that's on board.
We're now so used to BMW coming out with brave designs that when this arrived in 2014, no one was really shocked. We weren't taken aback perhaps, and it is quite a striking looking car. The design features are, well, let's say unique. And I'm going to say an acquired taste, but it does grow on you, and once you've acquired the taste, you like it. You kind of get used to the idea that the back window is lower than the front window, so the kids can see it. It's really tall, so you can see over it without being an SUV. I think maybe this side profile view of the car is the best way to look at it. It looks like something from an early 90s sci-fi movie's idea of what 2014 would have looked like. Kind of fun, really. It could have been in Gattaca, couldn't it? With electric cars, range is everything, so lightness and aerodynamics are everything as well, even to the point that the front wheels are a 155 and the rear wheels are a 175, making it slightly lighter turn-in, which helps the handling, to be honest, as well. Gives it more of a go-kart feel, but also less rolling resistance. All the wheels are 19-inch, which look pretty cool, and the wheel design itself kind of harks back to the old Ultimate Driving Machine days. It's a nice styling touch and a nice throwback. The radiator isn't actually a radiator. It gives you the BMW kidney grille, but it's only black plastic to give that look. I'm not sure where the air gets in apart from down under the number plate. On the side, at the back, we have the electric plug, which we're pretty much all used to these days. Plug in. But being a range extender, this has got a second hatch. There's a second fuel panel down here for petrol, for dinosaur juice. However, the owner of this car has had it for about a year, has never actually opened this and can't remember how. Open up the front trunk, front boot, this space here. I was expecting to find quite a big storage space, but there's actually just room for your charging gear and your charger and spare wheel changing gubbins. Not really enough room for a weekend bag, like you might expect on an electric car with no engine in it. Except it has got an engine in it, of course, so maybe that's, I don't know. The actual back boot isn't that commodious either. There's room for a few bags, a week's shopping certainly. This is just a regular sized backpack, because the car isn't that wide and it's not that long. It's only a 4-metre long car. But underneath here is the engine. Don't think I can take it off today because I haven't got a spanner. Maybe it was the Rolls-Royce, which is also a BMW, which started the fashion, but suicide doors come back into vogue, and the i3 makes good use of that, giving a massive access way into a relatively small car. The carbon fibre of the body tub is a real nice touch. It gives it a whole kind of Formula 1 high-end hypercar, supercar feel straight away, and this kind of curious feeling, and the curious feeling material of the door cards, which is actually made of recycled fibres, so the car's eco-credentials are even better than you first thought. The materials they've used in this car give it somewhere between a high-end and a concept car feel. You still have the recycled door cards, the carbon fibre tub, giving you that whole kind of supercar vibe. But at the same time, you can feel that the doors have got that slightly lighter weight feeling that maybe an unfinished concept car does have. But that is all in the quest for saving weight and improving range. Sitting in the interior, it's very clearly a BMW. These seats just fall into the whole family design so perfectly, and the centre console could be in any BMW really. These vents and the shape of the radio buttons all just fall from the 5 Series or the 3 Series. Like other BMWs in the range, as you hover your fingers over the station preset buttons, a little message comes up on the screen telling you what station you're about to select. The volume control is a little bit tiny here, it's kind of hidden away above the heater control. There is no dual zone, sadly. I don't know why, but there are heated seats. And if you're driving an electric car, good eco tip, running on the heated seats and not heating the cabin saves a lot of fuel and a lot of mileage range. Across the dash top is a beautiful curve of eucalyptus wood. I think on earlier models it was bamboo. I don't know if this is optional perhaps, but this looks so modern, Scandi design. It's very minimalistic and very clean and open. Even though it's only a small car on the outside, the interior is enormous. It feels like there is endless headroom. In fact, I'm 5'10", 5'11", and I've got that much clearance above my head. but it feels like there's a lot more, partly because of the light colours, partly because of the expanse of glass around you. Of course, it's got the standard iDrive as you would find in any other BMW, so if you're familiar with the BMW range, you'll be familiar with radio, nav, telephone, media, and the clicky wheel selections to go through. On the steering wheel, you've got the usual buttons. This could be lifted from pretty much any BMW. As you feel the rim, that's a 1 Series rim. But the interior section here just has a little difference, that blue BMW I, blue circle, and the different kind of carbon cell effect on the plastic. This is the big difference in the car. As you climb in, instead of having a key slot and a start button, or even just a start button for your keyless entry, your start-stop is here on the steering wheel. Climb into the car and you have the glowing red outline of the start-stop button. Hit the button and it turns blue for you, showing the car's awake, and your secondary screen comes alive. Now you can move the thumb dial. This is like the headlight switch in a Mark 1 MR2. You can move from park up to drive, back down to neutral, to reverse. Hit park to stop the car again, or just hit stop and it'll turn the car back into park for you automatically. It takes a bit of getting used to, but once you're there, it's very easy. Everything else is completely as you'd expect on a normal BMW. You've got the auto wipers, auto lights, all the binnacles and stalks are just the same as everything. Regular sounding horn. You'd never know it was an electric car from sitting here with the engine turned off. The back of this thing is really roomy as well. There's loads of room for my legs and my feet. The front seat feels a little bit like it's tight in my face, but I think you would get used to that pretty quickly because it's not actually that close. This is quite a cool touch. Instead of having a handle interrupting the nice design flow over the side of the seat, there's a little latch in the back of the headrest to allow you to push it forward and get out easily. Although to be honest, you don't really need to do that unless you're maybe putting a car seat in or some luggage. Back here, as well as having the, actually not black, they're a slightly off black brown, which is very nice. The more you look at it, the nicer it gets. Leather seats. We've got a couple of cup holders in the back for me and Rick to sit. Again, a massive of headroom. There's like MPV levels of headroom in here. It's strictly a 4-seater. There's only 2 seats in the back. And that's no bad thing. The original Mini R50 was as well, and they sold bucket loads of them, and no one ever complained about that being not a 5-seater. There's no central armrest in the back, but there is a twin cup holder for your friend Rick and a cup of coffee. But that's kind of all the storage there is, apart from a little tiny net in the back of the door. There's no door cubby bin. But yeah, this wouldn't be a bad place for a long journey. It's quite comfy in the back. Don't know what you're complaining about. Firing up the i3 like in any electric car is kind of unusual because you hit the start button and you just hear the radio. Nothing much else happens. Whack it into drive, handbrake off, and apart from the fact it's silent, everything's normal. And the 0 to 60 time on one of these cars is 8.1 seconds, which is respectable. For a diesel 10 years ago, that was very good. But the real party piece is that the 0 to 30 is the same as an E90 M3. And that's 60. That's pretty impressive. The thing that really gets you on the road is the way that it doesn't feel like a lightweight car. The thing with so many electric cars is that it feels like they've been made lightweight, and you can tell this doesn't. This feels like an actual BMW. It's a BMW steering wheel, more or less the same feel as you'd find in a 1 Series or a 3 Series. Ergonomically, it's the same equipment. Everything you touch is the same. You've still got a nice sat-nav that looks fancy. In a similar manner to the Nissan e-pedal, when you lift your foot off the accelerator here, the car automatically slows down. It's kind of like engine braking, but it adds regeneration. And again, like on the Nissan e-pedal, the more gently you lift off, the more gently you slow down, which is great once you get the hang of it. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time lurching along the road trying to figure out what you're doing. And if you do need to brake, the brakes are just fine. Obviously, it's BMW. Pulling away, you can tell it's a rear-wheel drive car. The way it just shoves you from the back and shoves you into the corner is kind of unique in the electric car world, as most of the others tend to be either front drive or four-wheel drive in the Teslas. Considering how skinny the front wheels are and the fact it's power assisted, the steering wheel has got a fair bit of weight to it. You get a bit of feedback coming through the steering wheel, so you know what's going on at the front, and you can actually have some fun playing with this thing. Something that strikes you when you're driving around is the lack of gear changes. Obviously it's an automatic, so you're not going to be shifting a gear anyway.
Obviously it's an automatic selector, but that is connected to a single speed drive unit, which in turn is connected to an electric motor, which on the latest version of this car spins up to 11,400 RPM and makes 180 foot-pound of torque from the moment you touch the accelerator. If you're not quite convinced by the i3's eco-credentials yet, here's some more. The eucalyptus wood from the dashboard is farmed in a sustainable forest. The door trim and dashboard are made from recycled natural fibre, and the body panels are made from recycled plastic. Even the Leipzig plant where the car is built is powered by renewable energy. For some people, the batteries are the flaw in the EV argument. However, the i3 never fully charges or discharges its cells so that it prolongs their life as long as possible. And even when the car reaches its end of life, those batteries are now being converted into home power storage so that solar and other renewable energy can be stored for use around the home.
So there you have it, the BMW i3 range extender, the electric car without the range anxiety that's never going to leave you stranded in the middle of nowhere at the middle of the night with no power, because it's got its engine built in as well. Buy one while you can. I think it's a huge mistake of BMW to cancel this car. But hey, hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit like, please subscribe. Hit the notification button to see new stuff when it comes out. Thanks for watching.